Now, when the market came up to 48.25 earlier today, right there, it proceeded to tank. We knew it was headed to 36. When it got there, we got long trades. Now, we got some long trades on the way down, but we knew better than to take those. After all, look at what the premium is doing. Okay, it's beginning to slope up here, but we're not at 36 yet. And we finally get in there over here. So then we test the real low right in here. That's really where you want to get in. And nice trade there. Now, as we're sloping up again, there's no reason to expect that this market will fail to come up to 48.25 again. But given what happened before, is it likely to happen again? Well, let's take a look. When that short materialized, the premium right here at the turn, high the premium way over here, GMA 1, 0.23, and then 0.24 at the high. Okay, where are we now? Okay, now we came up here. This is our high. You can see where we are at here. 0.39. Wait a second here. No, 0.16, 15. Yeah. Okay, high was at 1.4. Here we're at 4.6. We're much lower on the premium here than we were previous to that. Over here. Let's find that spot again. Okay. Okay, so we're lower, but we're not at the same price. And really, to make this work, we've got to be at or greater than 48.25, and we're not there yet. So in spite of the fact that we're getting a little pullback, reading the premium right there compared to where it was when the price was at 48.25 is not a fair comparison. Now, to compare it to this price is fair. This was at 45.50. You're at 45.75. And yeah, we're lower. You've got some divergence here. It's liable to come down. All right. But the real target, is still 48. So you really want to wait before you try to short this, because that price is obviously got to get tested. So we'll wait. Signal at 47. Don't want to take it. Gotta wait until we're up there at 48. Okay, so the last time we were at 48.25, which is what we're hitting again, we were at 27. Get it up here. There we go. On GMA 4, 27. That's exactly where you were when we saw the big short. Now we hit it again, and look at where the premium was. Much lower. That's your divergence. Now, we didn't get a signal here, but we certainly did here, okay? Because we had programmed a little strategy there just a few minutes ago to generate trades on very simple conditions. And there it is. Now, whether that will continue to produce or not, it's a little hard to tell. Premium is continuing to slope down. But there was nothing that was a telltale sign that the market should come back and test some particular level. And given that the low of the morning was just moments after the open, and we got that big pullback, but yet we've continued to climb, I would really think that this market is long. Could be wrong, but I kind of tend to say taking long trades here might make a lot more sense than shorts, but it is indeed a little hard to tell because you've got situations like this where you've got that divergence developing, and the market didn't like getting above this level before. It probably doesn't want to do it again, but you never know. So you read the premium, you make your best decisions. Right now, that premium says we're short. And a good area to test would be the POC down there at 39. So anyway, that's just something to bear in mind. Just watching the premium, especially if it's on the same day, look at where the premium was when a certain price got tested before it pivoted, and then check it again if it comes back. And we've got a little bit of divergence now, but we're also on the TPO side of things. Look at the volume. Yeah, there's just nothing above this level, and that's why we continue to see problems. But at the same time, this is what happened when the market just tested 45.25. No volume there. Finally pushed through. Now it's having a hard time pushing through 48.25. But once it gets past there, yeah, it's going to continue, and it's going to shoot to 51. And it's going to pick up steam and start going up even higher. So there's a good argument for a long trade here. And there you have it. Pushed right beyond there into the 50s and continuing on up. So yeah, taking a short trade there when you saw the dynamics of the profile didn't make much sense at all. Better yet to go long. Okay, I'm Rod Kusin, and Spooman will come back maybe a little bit later today to recap. Now here's this little strategy that we put together. Very simple, extremely simple, oversimplified. But it very kindly picks up these nice little dips here. We're going to now just add one condition so that it only trades in one direction. So here's how we do that. We're going to go into the code, and we're going to add that condition. Okay? It's a very long trend condition. Hit verified. And now it only trades in one direction. Now that's going to update all of this information. It's going to disappear when that takes place. There we go. It's going to run through a calculation. and then it'll be ready to trade live. What does this prove, by the way? It also proves that elaborate strategy conditions don't necessarily make the best strategies. Oftentimes it's oversimplified, and you think oversimplified is wrong. Well, not necessarily. You can accomplish much with very simple strategies if you know what to use. We'll come back. Now, once again, this area around 55.75, you can see is a very low volume node. Picking up long trade on this side of the bell-shaped curve. They're around 51.50, 50.75. That makes good sense, and we in fact just showed you signals right in that area. But now as we're pushing higher, you see we're going to run into trouble. It's going to have a hard time getting past this because it doesn't want to go there. Yeah. Nobody else did, so why should I? You see, that's kind of the philosophy. But all the same, there's good reason to expect that this is going to push through and run up even higher. So we just got done with this low area, and that low, oops, just a second. Hold that thought, I turned the wrong thing off. Okay. All right, let me show you what I'm doing. What we use in order for us to establish the major trend is a very broad setting, a trend setting on the ES, which is here, with a length of 5,000. Now I'm going to shorten that because at the moment that's still short. So instead what I'm going to do is change this over to 1,000. All right, that will allow me to trade long, only long. This setting here is sitting on data feed number 2, and data feed 2, okay? Data feed 2 is on the SPXU, which is an inverse to the inverse movement to the ES. So if we set up the very same lengths to the SPXU, then we get an inverse situation, meaning that if we use this for setting our trades when the market is short, we'll only go long. But if the ES is long, and we use this, we're going to set ourselves up for counter trend trading, only short. So now what we've done is we've reset this so that we're trading in the direction of the major trend on the ES, which presently is up, whereas it had just reversed on SPXU. It had been short. And now, of course, we want to be long. So that's why we adjusted that, just so you know. That won't affect any signal that we had there. It just affects the broadcast indicator And in our documentation, which we showed you in a previous video, the XPXU can be used for counter trend or swing trading conditions. All right, so that's what we just showed you. And now we got a long trade here. Very simple strategy. Might go a little bit lower. Look at where we are here. And most importantly, what's happening to the big picture on the premium. That's what we're really interested in. So to see that, if we look at this condition here, all right, that was our low. We tested that low. We went a little lower and we were higher on the ES, higher on the premium. Then we got divergent at the top here, and so we came down. And now we're testing that low at 51.75. Now remember, look at the volume. Where's a good place to go long? Well, the low volume node is down there at 49. But this may not get much past 51. It may not even want to go to 50.75. But if it does, it's going to push through there and then question 49.75. And so when you look at the profile, it's good to be watching the premium in conjunction with the profile. So as we come down here into 51.75, which it looks like we're liable to do here in just a second, as this fast moving average on the premium turns, presuming that it does, it should take us down to this node. And if it's turning up at that time, then you know, oh, okay, yeah, that's where the sweet spot is. Let's just watch this. Because it's not turning down. We've got now, this is a brief move up, higher highs, higher lows. It's trending up briefly. So what we need to do is see what happens if it turns down. No, it's going higher. We hit 53. Turns down, 51. I'm looking at these numbers here. Right, 51.75. We're going to dip into that 51.50 area. And we're probably going to go further. Because if we were at 53 at the top of that move, and this is turning, we're already down at 51.75. We haven't even dropped below the slowest of the moving averages. We'll come back in a minute. Now, look at where we're at, about 52. We're above this slow-moving average. Hopefully, we'll drop below it, turn up, and watch where we're at on the ES if we drop below that moving average. And at the moment, it doesn't look like it wants to do that. It's continuing to push higher, so we'll be back at 53 in just a second, and we're going to go higher. So now we're going to be pushing into the area around 54. We need to watch how the premium behaves when it gets there. Now, interestingly enough, we went higher on the premium, but we didn't go higher on the ES, at least not yet. Oop, there we go. We're back to 53. Almost. Okay, now we're at 53. Still pushing higher. 53.25. 53.50. Divergence here. Moving average has dipped. We're dropping now from 53.50 back to 52.75. Question, we've got a lower low of the premium here relative to what it was here. Looks like it's going to retrace a bit. Okay, now you can see how the highs of the premium have dropped off. We're not getting any higher here. So if we're back at 53.50 or above, as this is turning, now we're below, this should take a dive into this low volume node at 51.50, 50.75, and then we'll just have to see. That's what I would suspect will take place here. So a little opportunity to scalp this, although the greater trade really is long. But if you look at this high here on the premium, all right, when we moved up here, this was the high of the move. This was right after we went all the way up to, looks like about 55 and change. So we had passed this area. We were up in this node right before we hit 55.75. I don't think we got that high. Yeah, 55.25 is as high as it went. Then it turned, and now it's coming back down as this failed. But at the same time, relative to the move down, this was kind of a new high. So as this moves back down again, and if we see this thing turn again, we should be able to push up and test that level here at 55.25. See if it'll drop low enough. But we don't have any further time for our video. We're going to let this run, however. And we won't have any commentator on it for the next 45 minutes roughly. But this will allow you the opportunity to observe how the market behaves as it reaches these areas of low volume and where the premium is at the time. That's a good exercise to go through and watch this happen. Okay, I'm gonna just watch and see if this will turn back down one more time. Well, it's moving rather slowly, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to let it ride, and we'll record this so that you can come back and at any time just look at how the market behaved. The raw data here with the volume profile in conjunction with the premium. It's an important study. Okay, I'm Rod Kusin, Spoolman for Risk, and we're going to turn the mic off.